Namaskara. In this video, let's learn about spatial understanding and shapes. Spatial understanding. What we call spatial understanding is a concept mainly taught to the children studying in first and second grades. Children in their young age normally learn from their surroundings and only then step towards learning various other things. So, spatial understanding is the first topic which they learn in school, which they learn in the mathematics class. NCERT has mentioned about the topic spatial understanding, and the topics for spatial understanding, we have seen this already. Space, that is spatial understanding or awareness of space. If it is clear at a young age, it becomes the very foundation of geometry. If they learn it well at a very young age, in future, while they start learning geometry, we can say it will be easy for them. Small children, you must have observed, a small child keeps observing itself. She keeps watching her hands, her feet. Slowly, she will start observing others. Similarly, as she keeps growing, not only about herself, but she will also start observing her surroundings. When they come to school, when they join first grade, to a large extent, they will be familiar with objects and their surroundings. They might have knowledge of the concept, but nobody would have taught them in a formal and a structured manner. So, in the school, we move towards teaching them mathematics in a structured and practical manner. Now, what is environment and what do we have in our surroundings? It may be colors, it may be shapes, or it is all a total chaos. If children don't have the ability to identify shapes, don't we call it a big mix up? It leads to a big confusion. But slowly, while growing up, they see figures, they see shapes. This is a flower. This has color. This is an animal. This has movement. This way, they learn all these qualities on their own. This we take up in the school at a later stage and teach them. When children clearly start understanding these concepts, then in future, when they learn numbers and measurements or geometry or learning abstracts, we can say this becomes the foundation of their learning. Let's understand more about this and as we have learnt in another video, mathematics should be joyful learning. Play and learn, do and understand is our motto. In that direction, how we can teach this particular concept? Using our TLMs, using our mathematical kits. In what way we can teach this in the class? Let us see. Spatial understanding and shapes. Related to this topic, what learning materials do we use? These learning tools, we simply call them TLMs. In future, I will use TLM for short. How do we use them? Let us see now. These are square counters, what we call square counters. This is made of EVA material. This can be dipped in water and stuck on the board or on the table or on the ground or even on children's bench. Concrete stage activities can be done. Base 10 block. Base 10 block is a set we have here. It has yellow cubes and red based and solid. These two learning tools we will be using to teach this concept. These are solid objects. As these have lids, it is like a box, like a box. We are going to use these like a box here. Abacus rings. We call them abacus rings. Different colored abacus rings we have here. As these are in different colors, we use them to teach colors and shapes. We have here fraction shapes and fraction strips. Though basically these TLMs are used for teaching fractions, here we use them to teach ideas of shapes without showing numbers. This way, we teach the children by showing them the shapes. Spatial understanding, knowledge of space, these feel like big words to the children. For small children, children of first and second grade, there is no need to use these big words. Not required. This is only for our understanding. What do they need to learn? What do they need to understand? Only that we try to teach in a very simple and easy way. Now we have to learn inside and outside, the concepts of inside and outside. This concept, how it can be used in everyday life, in school and everywhere they use this. However, we do not know whether everybody has understood this completely. We need to understand this and teach them the concepts accordingly. At first, at the concrete stage, we teach using the teaching materials, that is, using TLMs. We proceed. Then we give them activities. Let us see how this is done. This solid object and these square counters are taken. Let us do this activity. How do we talk to the children? Let us consider this as a box, okay? This is a blue color square counter. This is a yellow color square counter, right? Where are these square counters placed? They are outside. They are on the table, yes. Are they inside this box or outside? They are outside, right? Now let us place them one by one into the box. Shall we put them here? Now you tell me, where are the square counters? They are inside, right? Very good. Now, I will take each one out. Where am I placing them? Outside this box, taken from this box and kept outside. Shall we do this activity using a different toy? Now, let us do the same activity using different materials. What are these called? Yellow cubes. And this is a solid object. This solid object is empty. Let us use it as a box. Are these inside the box or outside? They are outside, right? Let's place them here one by one. Where are the cubes now? Where are the yellow cubes now? Some are inside the box and some are outside the box. You can call some students and ask them to do the activity, ask them to place them in the box. This is how we can include the children also in the activity. Now, all these are inside. This activity, not just by using TLMs, we can do this using commonly available items. It could be leaves, flowers, seeds, all these can be used for these activities. We can ask the children to get these things, to get whatever is available. Whatever has a lot of color, if we ask them to get some small toys, they'll get them happily and participate. When we ask them to get something and take responsibility, when they get involved completely, they develop ownership. They'll be happy that they learned everything with what they brought. We must encourage it. We have done till now all the activities in the concrete stage. The children can be involved in the activities in the classroom. That is, in the classroom, using a chalk, they can draw a circle. We can make the children stand all around in a circle. We call this circle time. Make the children stand in center of the circle. Call them one by one. Come stand in the middle of the circle. While inside, clap 2 times and then step outside. By this, what happens? They understand the concept of inside and outside. The same thing can be done at the representation stage. Young children, small children, will be enthusiastic to share their ideas or show it through pictures. We should create an opportunity in the class. This may be used in this way of teaching. Now, inside and outside, how this can be taught through representation. Very easy. There is no rule to do it only like this. Most of you teachers, you're all very creative. In a creative way, you can do it in your own unique style. Now, we are drawing a picture. The picture of a school bag or any bag for that matter. Now, what is there inside this bag? What can we fill? Can you show this in a picture? When you come to school, you bring your books. Will you draw the book? You bring books. What else do you bring? You bring the pencil box, right? Will you draw the pencil box inside this bag? There is a pencil box. What else do you bring? Do you bring chocolates? Shall we draw the chocolates? Come on, let's draw the chocolates. Let's see. How many chocolates did you bring? Many chocolates? Draw them all. Draw how many ever you want. After that, where have you kept the water bottle? See, there is a space outside in this bag to keep the water bottle. I will draw here. Where will you draw? Inside this bag, there is a book, pencil box, chocolates. Whatever you have drawn, everything is in this bag. Only water bottle I drew outside. Where have you drawn it? Can you show me? If we give them an opportunity to participate, if we allow them to represent what they like, if we give them the opportunity, they will learn very happily. Not only this, after this activity, let us talk to them. Let us talk with the children. In our daily lives, where do we use these concepts? Where do we use inside-outside concepts? The word concept is a big word for the children. Can you tell me where we use these words? We can ask them. Then they will say, the chocolate is in my mouth. It's inside my mouth. Or we can show them a photo frame. Your picture is inside the photo frame. We can say that. Today, whoever is present, they are inside the class. Whoever is absent, they are outside the class. We can say that. Look at the lunch plate. Rice and curry are inside the plate. Is the water glass inside the plate? No, it is outside the plate. Like this, encourage them to give more ideas, to come up with more inputs. They'll do it and learn happily. Now, what is our task? We have taught them, conducted activities, and created an opportunity to represent. But we have to see whether they have learnt it properly or not. We need to evaluate everything we teach. What mistakes can the children make? We spoke about inside and outside. Did they understand inside as inside? Or are they confused? Are they mixed up? That check again. We should ask the children to put them inside again. Give it in his hand. Ask him to put it inside. Does he put it inside or outside? Then we will understand whether he understood the concept or not. Or up or down. Where else does he keep it? If he keeps it elsewhere, he didn't understand the concept clearly. we will have to teach them again. We need to do a few more activities and teach them patiently, and then proceed to the next activity, to the next lesson. Next concept is up and down. Let's take this solid cube. We'll use it as a box. I have a few square counters. I'm going to keep these on the box. Where are these? Where are these square counters? They are on top of the box. If I keep them one by one here, where are they now? It is outside now. It is not inside but outside. Is it on top? No, it is below, right? It is not on top of the box. It is down here. We can also say like this. If we keep the box on top of the counters, where are the square counters now? The square counters are not on top of the box. They are not next to the box, but they are under the box. Let us use another material to show this. Now it will be clear. See, where is it now? It is on top of the solid box. Let us keep the strip under the box. Over, under. Right? Now, up and down. This concept can be shown like this. Similarly, we have a red cube. Now, shall we keep something on top of this? What shall we keep? Shall we keep these square counters? Okay, we can keep these. We can keep the yellow cubes. Where are all these now? They are on the red cube. Now, I'm going to keep each one below, okay? Let's keep everything down, one by one. Let us keep them all down. Like this, we have done the activity using this. Similarly, in the classroom, we can engage them like this with these activities. You all should tell me now, where are the lights in this classroom? Is it here or there? It is up there, right? Light is up there. What is down here? What is down here in the classroom? There is floor down here, right? Similarly, what can you see up there? Can you tell me? Children will give different answers. What do the teachers do? We encourage them to give a correct reply. If there is any mistake, for example, water. If they say river is on top, we correct them. River flows down below. It is down here. Sun is up there. This is how we teach them. How can we represent this? Let us see. Now, we can either make them draw on the board or in the book. Do you all know how to draw a table? Can you do it? Let us see. Now, who should sit on the table? We should make someone sit on the table, on top of the table. Who wants to sit? I will make a cat sit here. Whatever you like, you must draw it on the table. Did you understand? We should allow the children to draw whatever they like in their style. This is not a drawing class. It is a mathematics class. So, we should tell them, it is nice. Whatever they draw, whatever color they put, whatever they draw, we need to encourage. With this, they'll be happy. It builds their confidence and they'll be ready to learn the next lesson. This is a table. Where is the cat? The cat is on top of the table, isn't it? Now, what will you draw under the table? Shall we draw something? I'm going to draw a small bucket. You need not draw whatever picture I'm drawing, okay? Is this a dustbin? The one we have in the classroom? Let us keep it under the table. Okay? Now, where is the cat? Cat is on top of the table. Where is the dustbin? It's under the table, right? Can you draw something else? Draw it. In this way, in the classroom, give them something to do. Give them an opportunity to show what they learned. Then what happens? The teacher understands that they understood. Have they understood? Have they understood the concept well? Give them an opportunity to speak. If they draw a picture, don't just say it's nice. Can you explain to me what it is? When you ask them that, they will. How do they use these words? It may be inside, outside, up or down. We will know whether they are using these words correctly or not. We will understand and we can correct if there are any mistakes. We can correct them with a lot of patience. Now, about this, in our daily lives, where do we use these words? We can ask the children. Up there. What is kept in the kitchen up there? When mother makes snacks, she keeps it in the upper storage so that children don't finish it in a day. She keeps it up there. What does she keep down? What is used regularly in the kitchen, that she keeps down, right? What else? Where is the coconut in the tree? It is up there, right? Coconut is up there. Where are the tiny blossoms and grasses? They are down here. They are not up. They are here. That's how we can explain up and down, how it is used in daily life. If you have some time to take them out of classroom, during the lunch break, if you have the children with you, if these words are used constantly, they will learn it easily. As we have seen, the words used in spatial understanding, the topics we learn, are the ones we use normally in our daily lives, like inside, outside, up and down, and the children have to understand this concept. One more such concept is near and far. This near and far, for small children we say near and far, but later when we teach measurements, if these concepts are understood well, the foundation for measurements will be strong. We can teach these near and far concepts by using TLMs. Just for reference, we are using this one. We take one big object and place it here. Other objects we take and place it near this. Let us keep a little far away. Okay? What is this? It is a red cube. And this is a blue solid cube. Right? This is a yellow strip. Now, what is right next to the red cube? What is there? Blue solid cuboid. This and this are very close, right? They are very close by, right? Is this close by? No, it is far away. It is very far away. If you compare it to this, it is very far away. Let us take one more object. Which color is this? This is green. We'll keep the green one here and the yellow one there. Then, which one is close to the red cuboid? Which is near? Which colored ring is near? This green ring is near the red cuboid. Yellow is very far, right? Now, the yellow one will say, "Why am I so far? I will also come close by." Ting, 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 ting. We can play with the children. Right? Now, where are the two rings? Both are very close to the red cube. Like this, we can do different activities with the children. We can use different teaching materials for these activities. Similarly, we can use children in the classroom. I'm going to call two of them. Ramesh will stand here and Gauri will stand far. Come closer. These kinds of activities can be done in the class. Also, you can ask them in your class, near your school, there might be some trees, some rose plants. They are right outside. Coconut tree is far away. So, near our school, our classroom, which plant is very close by? They will say rose plant. What is far away? Coconut tree is far away. This way, we can teach the children. The same thing in a notebook, in a square line notebook, we can do and show them, okay? Small children like drawing on a book a lot. Some children will not have that skill. We have agreed not to criticize them. Similarly, some children don't like it at all. We should not force them. Let us keep a box in the class. Let us keep some paper cuttings. Some newspaper cuttings, clippings can be taken and stuck here. We can tell them to stick these pictures in their notebooks. Whoever doesn't like to draw, they will not feel burdened. They will not fear the teacher will scold them. Somehow, they have to represent this concept. They have to show it here. They should do it happily. They should not feel it like a punishment or a torture. Near and far, we should show it in a picture. What do we draw? Any object. Any house? Shall we draw a picture of a house? Okay. Draw doors and windows to the house. Okay? The house is done now. What is close to the house? What shall we draw? Shall we draw a flower plant? What is very far from the house? Tell me. Coconut trees are there. Very far, we can see hills also. Otherwise, is the sun close by? No, right? He is very far, right? Shall we draw the sun far away? Now, the children have drawn the picture. Give them enough opportunity. But don't allow them to move away from the topic. While drawing the picture, they should not forget what is the topic. We are drawing near and far. They should not forget this. Teacher asked me to draw a picture, so I will draw whatever I want. They should not do this. We should teach them with love. Ask them to explain it. While explaining, children will be very enthusiastic and this will be helpful for teachers for assessment. Have they understood the concept? What is this? This is a house. What is this? Plant. Where is the plant? Next to the house. What is this? This is sun. Sun is up there. Very good. They have understood that concept. Sun is far. Sun is near. In their own words, they should be able to find the answers. We should ask relevant questions. We should make them understand. Similarly, this near and far in our daily life, where do we use it? Talk to the children about this. Keep talking to the children. Ask them, how far is Mysore? Is it near? No, it is very far. Like this. Or take something else. Where is this? Is it nearby? In the classroom, on the table, there is a box of chalk. I am taking this. This is very close by, so I am taking this. But duster is very far. Can you please bring it? Then, along with asking him to get the duster, it is far, please get it, he will remember the word far. He will know the usage of near and far. Like this, in our everyday life, we must make them use these words and make them understand. Next, we are going to learn about the concept of long and short. Let us say this concept now. Near and far, how we saw this in measurement. We saw that it forms the foundation of learning measurement. Similarly, long and short in measurement is the foundation to teach this topic. Now, to demonstrate this, we can use a few TLMs. Now, how does this red strip look? It is red in color, yes. Is it small? No. It is very big. It is a big strip. This one, what color is this? White color. This, is it small or big? Compared to this is small, right? This one, if we keep them like this, the red is tall, very tall. This is small. It is very short, right? This is a long strip and this is a short strip. Now, let us take another one. Now, what is this? Which color is this? This is a yellow counter, right? This yellow counter, is it tall? No, right? It is very short. Compared to this white strip, this yellow counter is very short. It is a very short one, a little one. It is very short compared to this red strip also. This way, tall and short can be taught. Now, let us teach the concept of tall and short by using other TLMs. This is a red cube. And this a blue solid cuboid. Red is tall and blue is short, right? Similarly, let us keep the small one. Now, which is tall and which is short? Red cube is tall and this one is short. In the same way, big and small concept can be taught. Big and small. This is big and this is small. This is bigger than this. Which is bigger, which is smaller, this can be taught. Similarly, which is tall, which is short can be taught. Children often discuss about tall and short. When they return from holidays, they often discuss about growing. Oh, you have grown so tall, the teacher says. Teacher, look at me, I've grown so tall, taller than him. This is how they say. Similarly, activities can be conducted in the class. Whose pencil is long? Instead of teacher comparing the children who is tall, who is short, she can say, all of you take out your pencils. Whose pencil is long? Whose pencil is short? She can ask that. After you write a lot, even your pencil will become short. This way, she can discuss in the class and conduct the activities. Make them draw. Shall we make the children draw? Draw a shape here. Draw another small shape here. Children already know about colors. So, you can ask the children, which picture is tall? Whichever is tall, fill it with colors. Don't fill colors in the short one. Fill only the tall one. Then they will start filling colors into the shapes. Now the children will start filling the shapes with colors. The teacher can go around in the class, observe what the children are doing. If the child is filling the shorter one, the teacher understands that the child did not understand the concept. Then she has to teach them again. This is long, this has to be filled with color. You have to fill the color in this and not the short one. This way, evaluation can also happen simultaneously. Instead of this, they can also be made to draw objects of their choice, something that is tall. It may be a snake, right? It need not be tall. It can be parallel to the ground and a long one. There is a long snake. Then a chameleon is long or a snake is long. The snake is long, right? Similarly, whose hair is long? This way, the learning can happen through fun. Whose hair is long? Whose hair is short? This way, it can be discussed. We have learnt about spatial understanding. We have taught the children the basic concepts. Now, objects. Identifying objects. How to identify objects. Children would have done it already. First and second graders know object identification. Even then, we give them more training. We explain about different characteristics of objects. This way, based on the characteristics of the objects, we make them segregate the objects. Children will do it happily. It is like a game for them. They keep playing the games and understand the concepts clearly. Let us see how. Now, I will take these many TLMs and I'll keep them together here. Okay? Then I'll ask the children, what is this? This is the square counter, right? What is this? Abacus ring. Children should be allowed to touch. Then they understand this is different. The characteristics of this and this are different. They will understand. This is a yellow cube. This is different. Now, I will give them this and ask them to segregate based on shapes. Which one looks like this, feels like this, it has the same shape, they are of the same size. Keep them aside based on this shape and size. Now, these square counters, let us keep them all on this side. Yeah? And now, all these yellow cubes. Let us keep them all in a group down here. Some kids are very systematic. They will separate these first and only then separate the others. But some kids, they just pick whichever and start segregating them. We should not force them to do it only in this particular way. Totally, they should learn how to segregate them based on the characteristics and group them. Let them take their own time. Let them look at them. This is yellow, this is red. I will pick blue first. I'll take the blue ones and keep them. This way, they will keep talking happily and segregate them. Let them do it. Encourage them. Tell them, very good. Similarly, like this, we can make them do a lot of activities. In the morning, during the assembly time, we can ask them to pick flowers, small stones, pebbles, not to get hurt. All these they can pick and put them together and segregate them. Jackfruit seeds, tamarind seeds, such seeds can be put in a box and all these can be used to segregate in the class. Keep all the leaves on one side, all the seeds on the other side. This can be done. Now, what have we done? We have segregated the objects based on shape. Now, the same activity can be done in a different way. We know the colors of these, right? Based on the colors of these objects, let us segregate. Which color is this? This is green. Which color is this? This is red. This one is yellow. Do we have any other color? No, we have only these many. This green is different from this green slightly, but we will take them as green. Okay? This red and this red are different, but we will take it as red. We'll segregate them based on their colors. Where shall we start? Tell me which color. Yellow is more, right? Let us pick the yellow ones first. Red we'll keep on this side. Let's take the green ones and group them here. What else do we have? The blue ones. Let's keep the blue ones here. Like this. We have segregated based on color. Look at it, so beautiful. All the colors were together. We have separated them and kept. What did we do? We separated them based on color. We segregated them. For children, the words segregation and separation are big ones. These are for teachers' understanding. But we can say separate them, keep them separately. Then it becomes simple. This way, this activity, we can make them do using different objects. Bangles, children will be using colorful bangles. We can ask them to segregate based on color and make them play. After this, comparison. Comparing objects based on shape. Comparing shapes, not measuring the objects. Children have not reached the measuring stage, but based on sight, by looking at them, they should understand this is big, this is small, this is tall, this is short. This way, they must understand the concepts. Let us do some activities for this. This is yellow. This is white. We have green and blue. Are all these the same size? Are they all big or are they all small? They are different. This is the biggest of them all, isn't it? Now, if we take these two, which is big and which is small? This is big. This is small. We have seen this already. If we take this, which is small? Yellow is smaller than blue. These two are smaller than blue. Isn't it? If we take this is small and this is very small, tiny. Which is biggest of them all? Will you tell? This, isn't it? This is the biggest of them all. Which is the smallest? This one? No. There is a smaller one, tiny. Which is smaller between these two? Both are same size, right? So any one is okay. We will keep one aside. This one is enough. This is the smallest and this is the biggest. This way, we can teach them comparison by just looking at them. This activity, we can take the pencil boxes that they have or the erasers that they have, books that they have. We can take the children of one bench into a group, keep the objects close by and teach them how to compare based on the shapes. We can teach through activities. In this concept, the next topic is rolling and sliding. This also can be taught through games. This is such an important topic. In this, children will learn to observe objects closely. They will play it like a game, but along with it, they will understand the basic principles of geometry. The important principles of geometry they will learn from these games. This is the stage where they observe. Let us see how this can be done. We can arrange them like this. This is a decimal set, a tray. I'll be using this. Let us keep it like a slide on the table in the classroom. In this way, we can arrange like this and take some objects from here and use them. I have taken these many objects. Now, I will show you right here. This is rolling, right? If we leave it like this, it's going like a cart. This motion is called rolling. Now, this motion is sliding. If it is just going like this, it is sliding. In the rainy season, you would have seen most of the children slide and fall, right? In the same way, this is sliding. Now, one by one, I will show all these. You have to tell me, okay? You have to tell me which motion this is, okay? Now, this ball, I will leave it from here. What happened? Did it slide down or roll down? It rolled down, right? It rolled down. If we take this, I'll push it a little. It is not rolling down by itself. It is sliding down. Similarly, this yellow cube also is sliding down. What will happen with this? Will it roll down or slide down? Let us see. It is not falling. It is not rolling down also. It is sliding down. This is a blue solid cuboid. Solid slides down. This is a red cube. What happens with this? It is also sliding down, right? Let us look at this again. This is rolling down. What will happen with the pen? Shall we see? It slides down or rolls down? It is rolling, right? This is rolling. Now, what will happen with this? If we keep it like this, it is sliding. If we keep it like this, see, it is just like the pen. If we keep it like this, it's rolling. This object, if we keep it like this, it slides. If we keep it like this, it rolls. Why is it so? Shall we see? Now, observe each object. See this, touch it and see. This is a flat surface. Because of it, it slides. It can't roll. But if you take the ball, it does not have a flat surface. It is round. That is why it rolls. Ball has a round surface. Because its surface is round, it did not slide. It rolled down like this. So, what is special in this? This is a special object. If we keep it like this, it slides. If we keep it like this, it rolls. This one, see here, it is not round. It's a flat surface. This part is flat. When you keep the flat surface, when you place it like this, it slides. But if you keep the rounded surface, it rolls, right? It is rolling down. This can be explained by various experiments. Whichever object we take, let us take a different object. Let us take this one. This white one. Let's ask the children. Look at how is this? Will it slide or will it roll? The children will see and say, there is nothing round in this object, miss. This is not round, so this will not roll. It will slide. What about pencil? Pencil, how is it? It has a rounded surface, so it will roll. This is likely to roll. This is what the children will understand and answer. Where will this be useful in future? This will be useful in a geometry class when they start learning about even and uneven surfaces. When they have to solve problems based on this, the knowledge gained here will be useful. The concept of spatial understanding is very easy for children. The first and second standard children will not feel they are studying. They will learn it quickly through games and activities. Even then, we need to give special attention and ensure that the children understand this concept well without any confusions, mistakes. Confusions could be when we say up, the child should show up, not inside. When we tell them to keep it up, the child should keep it up, should not put it inside the box. Then we will know that the child did not understand the concept well. In this manner, without any confusions, first and second grade students, if they understand well, in future, it will help the teachers to take further lessons. Children also will learn easily. We have seen so far how to teach spatial understanding by using various TLMs. In addition to this, using the materials available around and using your own unique creative skills, we hope you can conduct these classes much better. All the best.